Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael, and today we are going to have a short video as we are looking at a small coaster creation. As you can see, a small dive coaster created by Astro underscore King 808, and I've spotlighted some of this creator's creations before because he just does an amazing job with his coasters. They run smooth, and as you can kind of see the layout here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the tour. Thank you guys so much for joining and watching this video. And I just love looking at stuff in flip cam mode because this view you get is just spectacular. Yeah, I mean, I for one, I like dive coasters a lot. I think they're a lot of fun. Um, they're obviously fairly short in length for the most part, but I do think the elements are really good. And so for me, I don't really necessarily care how long the ride is, as long as every part of the ride is kind of hits, if that makes sense. Um, so I love this little information board right here. They say the height, the max speed, everything about it. And now I know this sign, the flat line, was created by MassFam4, and so he does such an amazing job with creating that stuff. But I wanted to look in guest mode so we can really kind of see the queue and everything. So you can see the protective fences where needed. But on this part, it's kind of like with Gatekeeper at times where, like, if somebody were to run on the other side of this railing, it's not, the track's not low enough for it to be a hazard. And then we've got some TV screens. I like that. And you got speakers behind it. I don't hear anything in my speaker, so but that's one thing I need to start doing more is putting those screens in line because you see that at a fair amount of parks. And I also like having the double fence there because sometimes I do feel like when you have just one chain link fence, it's not quite high enough. So the other way to kind of combat that if you don't want to do double is just to turn it vertical instead of horizontal. So that is one option. And then now we have perfectly matched cement with the stairs because this is not the easiest thing to do sometimes. Although it's a lot easier if you build everything from the from the station. But I love the blue color there for just kind of the base, and that's a good way there to cover up the ugliness that is the entrance and exit gate. And so now we look here at the station, and it's kind of what we've seen with other creations by this creator. So there's the transfer track, although I am going to nitpick and say that track can't transfer over because those tracks are too long. So I am going to nitpick about that. But I do love just the detail that he uses. I mean, you got the pipes, you got wiring. I mean, you got everything. So we'll do a little more detailed look at the backstage after we take a ride on the coaster. But I love the operator booth, which I think that was created by Marco Cop 93. So there are a couple of creations being used by somebody else, but I think it fits really well with the park. And then I love the screens there. Is that kind of, a lot of the newer rides have this where it shows on a screen to the employees who's essentially which seats are not locked and so forth. So let's go ahead and look at the stats real quick. I mean, it's very hard to get a dive coaster all green. G-forces look great. 80-foot drop. That looks smaller than 80 foot, but all right. So number of inversions, 3. And I'll talk to you after the coaster. So that was the dive coaster and called Flatline. I thought it was fantastic. I think it was super smooth. For a smaller scale dive coaster, I think the length was honestly pretty perfect because these are never going to be overly large in terms of the length of track and stuff like that and how long the ride experience is. And it had, a lot of the elements. Now, it says it went upside down 3 times. It really only goes upside down twice. The game counts that as an inversion because that bank is over 90 degrees. So in the game, whenever there's a banking over 90 degrees, they'll count it as an inversion. So always keep that in mind sometimes. But as we kind of see the layout there, I mean, I really like it. And that looks like, is that custom? No, that came with the ride. So, and here's the cool thing too with this is all of those supports, none of those are custom supports, and it's really well supported. So I think that's really pretty cool how it worked out that way. And then I just love how with all his coasters, he's able to find a way to kind of have the path going around it and all that fun stuff. But let's look here at the transfer track. And I think there's so he's got a little doorway here for staff only. So you got a little door to get into the under part of the station. And then here to get into the transfer track area. Now, one area I'd like to see him maybe detail a little bit more is the transfer track part sometimes, because he does such a good job with detailing the outside of it and everything. I mean, you got the vent fan there. I mean, you got your cable box. You got extra boxes and stuff. You got stairs to get up to this portion here. I mean, everything's thought of. And then on this side, we got the power. Now, I think he forgot to put the railing up there, which it's all good. Once again, you got a cable box, and I like the use of having the different buttons there. So if anybody's wondering what that is, that's just the fiberglass panel. So I think that's a pretty cool way to do that. Then you got the truck, and then you obviously got the gas tank and stuff like that. So yeah, that is this wonderful coaster, wonderful dive coaster. So what are your all's thoughts? And if you want to download this to put in your park or save it as a blueprint to use or just check it out, make sure to click on the link below and check it out on the workshop. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to y'all later.